evening. This is the Vsb Tv 11 News for Thursday, April 17th. I'm Peter Cattell. Our top story. The Cannabis Reform Collaborative issued its final advisory document today, in which it claims that cannabis prohibition is not working in Bermuda. There is need for more prevention services, and the medical properties of the drug must not be ignored. It calls upon government to decriminalize marijuana, redirect funds towards demand reduction, introduce stronger education initiatives, and supply treatment to addicts. The 130-page document was presented to National Security Minister Michael Dunkley by Stratton Hatfield, and Mr. Dunkley said it would be tabled for the information of the House of Assembly on Friday, May 9th, and be included in the ongoing policy review by his ministry and the Department of Drug Control.
Individuals prosecuted and incarcerated for nonviolent crime related to cannabis are overwhelming the criminal justice system and negatively affecting people's lives. Between 2003 and 2008, there were 2,227 cannabis offenses, approximately 370 per year during that time. And in the period between 2011 and 2012, there were 822 cannabis offenses, averaging at about 411 per year. Furthermore, the criminalization of cannabis has been paralleled with disparity along racial lines in terms of enforcement, sentencing, incarceration, and related health issues, all of which greatly contribute to the social challenges of our community. In Bermuda, a total of $20.8 million was spent administering our drug plan in 2012. Treatment was the bulk of the cost at 60%, while enforcement was 35%, and the remaining amount was 3% allocated towards prevention. This shows a demand for Bermuda to focus on more prevention initiatives so as to reduce substance use and costly, expensive treatment. Cannabis as a medicinal substance is gaining global prominence, and there are an overwhelming amount of preclinical studies supporting the therapeutic substance. The community has identified strong interest in the growing medical research, and many are seeking more information and access.
Mr. Hatfield was asked what kind of a reception the CRC had when they met with U.S. Consul General Robert Secchi to discuss the stance the United States might take to any changes in our laws.
We had an excellent reception from the U.S. Consulate General. One thing that he stated is that federally, the law in the United States remains the same. So until the drug, cannabis, is reclassified out of the Schedule 1, the laws will remain the same and be applied internationally. So that was one of the big pieces that we got out of that. Any reform that takes place in Bermuda doesn't have a difference in the United States.
The People's Campaign for Equality, Jobs and Justice was launched today on the steps of City Hall by a group of predominantly union officials that professes to be non-political. Chris Ferbert, Molly Burgess, and Laverne Ferbert of the BIU appeared with Dr. Mike Charles of the Teachers Union, Jason Hayward of the BPSU, Keith Simmons of the Handicapped Association, and Alan Wilkinson of TUC. They plan to deliver a manifesto to the Premier and opposition leader on May the 1st. Meanwhile, the Reverend Nicholas Tweed explains the rationale behind the People's Campaign.
The People's Campaign for Equality, Jobs and Justice is a coalition of concerned people of goodwill who have joined together to give voice to the condition of the country. As a group, we are concerned with the growing frustration and mistrust of the political process in view of the continued rise in unemployment, the growing gap between haves and have-nots, and the unequal burden of sacrifice that is being placed on the lowest and the least and the most vulnerable members of our communities. This coalition, out of a shared love and concern for the country, feel the need to speak in an effort to reset the moral compass of the island and its leaders around a set of core people's issues. The people have formulated a manifesto in order to guide those who represent them so that they cannot continue to implement policies in the name of the people that do not serve the interests of the people. The people of Bermuda are entitled to expect that those who are entrusted to lead will be guided by the will of the people and make decisions based upon priorities that are consistent with the expectations, hopes, and aspirations of all of the people.
Stuart Haywood, president of the Best Environmental Group, hopes what he describes as the lemon of the Grand Atlantic development will be turned into lemonade by the decision to convert the estate into a condo hotel. But he still has concerns about the cliffside location.
It looks that we're making lemonade out of what was clearly a lemon, and I think that's something to be congratulated. We still have to see what the details are, and sometimes the devil is in the details, but to find that they found a tourism application for what was initially built as a tourism facility, or initially promised as a tourism facility, I think that's to be applauded. So we have to see how it goes.
But you've done some of the engineering studies yourselves.
Well, we had David Wingate look at the area for us, and according to his assessment, that area is among the least stable of the South Shore areas, so it's going to be most susceptible to wave and wind action. It's, you know, as we said earlier, you're looking at something that's going to happen down the pipe, down a few years from now. Meanwhile, we ought to take advantage of it, and that's what I think is happening now. The new owners are going to have to consider the effects of wind and weather on that cliff face and act accordingly. But the fact that we are now looking to cover I think it was $1 million a year in upkeep expenses, that we're going to chip into that and perhaps come out with some benefit, I think that's good.
For the fourth year running, Chewstick will be offering its popular Kite Fest at Horseshoe Bay on Good Friday, and organizer Najib Chentov says for the first time they will be counting the number of kites being flown from the beach in search of a record total.
This year we have even more categories in our kite competition. We've had our first sponsor of the fish cake competition, which is Bermuda's Best Cod Fish. We're really happy to have them on. So we have a fish cake competition this year, as well as fun games, wacky races, three-legged races, marbles, and we're actually going to make a kite count of all the kites that are flying during the day, so it should be great. We also have lots of live local entertainment, so a full concert for people during the day, as well as the Gumbays coming down. The Premier is going to be down to give a welcome early on in the day when we get started, so it should be a great day for the entire family down on Horseshoe Bay, so we're really looking forward to it.
And why do you think that is in Bermuda, that with Good Friday in particular, Bermudians have such a strong fundamental tradition?
Well, I think it's really one of the few holidays where we've really managed to hold on to a lot of different aspects of the tradition. So whether that's the food or the kites themselves as traditional Bermudian kites. So it's really great. We've had a lot of great enthusiastic support over the years. People coming down with their traditional kites. Last year was really windy, so we didn't have too many Bermudian kites out. So we're hoping this year that the winds will be just in that sweet spot so we can get a lot of local kites out. We would like to start a tradition this year and build it for years to come, to try and get a record for the most kites flown on the beach. So this year we're gonna have a count this year. We're not as ambitious as hitting the record this year, but we're hoping that in years to come we can actually make an international record at the event. So that's the goal. And this year we're really blessed to have Keytech, BTC and Logic on board. They're our title sponsors, and they really made the event possible.
Will there be any local artists performing or anything like that?
Yeah, we got a whole host of local artists. So recent Bermuda Idol winner Olivia Hamilton will be at the beach, Loretta Adderley, Kid Classic. They'll all be performing. We have Twigs, which is our youth open mic program, so we're going to have some representatives from them performing as well. So it really should be a great day.
Still ahead on the TV 11 News is Rachel with the weather preview.
Thanks, Peter. Fair and mild through Good Friday. On the radar, not much activity, so expected to be nice and dry tonight. But please stay tuned for the full weather report as we take a closer look at Easter weekend.
The weather radar picture provided courtesy of the Ministry of Transport on Vsb Tv 11.
Save $1 on your choice of Bermuda-grown romaine or green leaf lettuce. Only $2.49 per package. Save $1.50 per pound on fresh Purdue chicken thighs. Value packs, only $1.99 per pound. Great savings of 90 cents on an imported dozen white eggs, only $2.59. For your baking needs, Bluebonnet margarine sticks, 1-pound box, $1.59. Big savings of $1.69 on Atlantic sugar, 4-pound bag, only $2.10. All stores open until 10 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
Copyfax is Bermuda's authorized Samsung dealer. See a large range of Samsung color and black and white multifunctional machines, printers, scanners, faxes, and copiers, and all networkable. Copyfax has Samsung machines suitable for home, office, or any size business in an A4 format, taking up less room than other similar equipment. And replacement supplies are in stock for all of their Samsung products. Affordable shopping at Copyfax Limited, where service comes first.
The defunct broadcasting stations have more diverse programming than any other broadcasting company in Bermuda.
This is London.
11:60 a.m. The BBC World Service. All day, every day, all night, every night. 11:60 a.m. One of the stations of the defunct broadcasting company.
Although the police will be celebrating their 135th anniversary throughout the year, the annual Police Week in October will be featuring some special events, including the visit of the Royal Bahamian Police Force Band and, as the climax, a tattoo featuring the visitors and Bermuda bands. Police Commissioner Michael De Silva fills us in on the week's highlights.
During Police Week, many of the features will be in place, and again, just to highlight some of the more significant ones, on Tuesday, October 7th is the Seniors' Tea. I'm giving plenty of notice for this one. Out of all the events we run in Police Week, this is the most oversubscribed event that we run. So we're giving 6 months' notice to our seniors so they can plan accordingly. On that evening of October 7th, we'll have a historic lecture, which will be at BUEI to look at the history of the Bermuda Police Service over the last 135 years. On Wednesday, October 8th, the Bahamas Police Force Band will play a public concert outside of City Hall, and at the same time we will have a police parade. And the idea here is to have as many serving police officers, support staff, as many retired officers and support staff, as many ex-police officers and support staff, anyone that's ever worked in the Bermuda Police Force or the Bermuda Police Service, to form up outside of Hamilton Police Station and then proceed to the City Hall steps, where we'll take a photograph, which we imagine could be as many as 500-600 people. In order to help us achieve that, we've lost contact with some of our former employees, and our PMR office will put their address up and telephone, and if you could kindly let us know what your contact details are, we would love to include you in that parade. The event will culminate on Saturday, the 11th of October, with a police tattoo. This is a military tattoo with a police theme around it, where the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band will be the main band, supported by our local bands from the Bermuda Regiment, as well as Somerset Brigade and North Village Band.
Now, here's the Reinsurance Business Report, presented by Bermuda Re. Bermuda Reinsurance News, brought to you by Bermuda Re. Endurance has made public efforts to enter into talks with Aspen to acquire the company, a move that would establish the combined entity as a global leader in specialty insurance and reinsurance. Endurance has announced that it has made a $3.2 billion offer for Aspen, which Aspen has unanimously rejected. Negotiations and mutual recriminations have followed. EY has named Pete Kangani as senior partner for its Bermuda operations. He will lead the firm's insurance operations on the island. Commenting on the promotion, EY says that Kangani will focus on continuing to build the firm's presence in Bermuda and strengthening its client delivery teams and capabilities across the insurance, wealth and asset management and banking sectors. Lancashire's founder, Richard Brindle, is to retire and will be replaced as CEO by Alex Maloney from the end of April. Maloney has been promoted from Group Chief Underwriting Officer and CEO of the group's UK subsidiary, Lancashire Insurance. Torsten Juarich, CEO of reinsurance at Munich Re, has endorsed RMS's new modeling platform, RMS One, stating that the reinsurer has chosen the system as its core platform for exposure management. The new platform has also added 5 new ecosystem partners as the open-source platform continues to develop. Florida Insurance Commissioner Kevin McCarthy has stated that Floridians should prepare for the 2014 hurricane season by enhancing their coverage to include flood insurance, creating potential opportunities for the market. Flood coverage is not typically included in hurricane policies, and McCarthy is encouraging consumers to consider purchasing flood coverage in order to fully protect their properties and businesses. His call could spell opportunity for Bermuda players who have seen their traditional focus on U.S. wind risk, Florida in particular, undercut by Convergence Capital. That's Bermuda Reinsurance News, brought to you by Bermuda Re. Now, here's a look at the daily markets, presented by Bias.
Here are the daily markets presented by Bias. Global equity markets rose, boosted by solid U.S. economic data and upbeat results from U.S. companies, while the dollar rose after a joint call by major powers for the fighting in Ukraine to end. Most North American indices advanced today. The S&P 500 rose 0.14% to 1,865 as earnings from General Electric and Morgan Stanley beat estimates. The Toronto Stock Exchange increased 0.37% to 14,500. Bank of NT Butterfield rose 3.02% to $2.05, with 1,500 shares trading hands. Ace Limited declined 0.42% to $100.94. RenRe advanced 0.45% to $101.32. European stocks climbed for a second day as reports showed fewer Americans claimed unemployment benefits last week than expected. The FTSE 100 rose 0.62% to 6,625. Pacific Rim indices were mixed on the day. Chinese stocks declined as energy producers and financial shares dropped, overshadowing an advance by technology companies. The Nikkei 225 remained unchanged on the day at 14,418. Most Latin American indices advanced on the day. Vsb rose 1.75% to 52,098 as Brazilian commodities rallied after economic data indicating growth in the U.S. pushed oil and metal prices higher. Treasuries fell, pushing yields up as talks on the crisis in Ukraine ended with an agreement to ease the conflict, dampening haven demand. The U.S. 10-year Treasury increased 9 basis points to 2.72%. The U.S. dollar strengthened against its major peers as an accord to de-escalate the conflict in Ukraine sent stocks higher. The Australian dollar declined 0.48% versus the U.S. dollar. That was a look at the daily markets presented by Bias. There's more news after the break.
Perfect for your fish cakes, Ocean's Finest Codfish. Only $6.99 for a 400-gram bag. Save $1.50 per pound on fresh green beans. Only $2.49 per pound. Save $1.15 on Hunt's Ketchup 35-ounce squeeze bottle. Only $2.29. Snack on Wise potato chips. Only $1.49 for a 3.75-ounce bag. Regular, diet, cherry, or zero Coca-Cola soda. Only $4.99 for a 6-pack. All stores open until 10 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us. Help build a lasting legacy with the Bermuda Hospital's Charitable Trust. Support our hospital by purchasing a 4x8-inch brick for the Legacy Walkway. Your engraved brick will be predominantly featured outside the new acute care wing. You can customize your brick with a personal message, a tribute, names of family members, or even a special thank you. Call 295-2428 or visit bhct.bm to make arrangements for your legacy brick today.
Bermuda is an easy way to find great discounts while discovering fun activities to do in Bermuda. Discover the best spas, restaurants, activities, services, and shops at 50% off. Sign up to Bermudeals and start saving today.
Last night, Duncan Hall, founder and director of the Bermuda Documentary Films Festival, described the films on offer during the first 2 days of the 4-day festival. We think you would also enjoy what is on the schedule for the second 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, in case they inspire you to attend.
That's what we try to do, quality and variety. Saturday we've got a film called The Moo Man, about an maverick organic farmer, filmed over a few years on the Pevensey Levels in East Sussex. We've got a film called The Final Member, which is very, very funny. We've got a film called Jackie Stewart, Weekend of a Champion, the inside story of his preparation for and racing in the 1971 Monaco Grand Prix, as interviewed by Roman Polanski, and then they meet up 40 years later and reflect on the changes both in their own lives and also in Formula One. Last Days in Vietnam tells the inside story of the evacuation of Saigon, where a lot of Americans, or a small number of Americans who were left in the country, sort of started an unsanctioned airlift and boat lift to help their South Vietnamese colleagues escape the country as the North Vietnamese closed in. And then Sunday we've got Red Obsession, which is about the history and changing nature of the French wine industry. We've got Ai Weiwei, Fake Case, about the Chinese dissident artist. And then we've got a film that I think would really resonate with people here. It's called Evergreen, The Road to Legalization in Washington. And it tells the process leading up to Ballot Initiative 502, which legalized the use of recreational marijuana in Washington for people 21 and over. And of course we're now talking about cannabis law reform here, so it has a great resonance here with what's going on here.
April is Environmental Awareness Month, and Vsb Tv 11 is airing relevant documentaries exploring environmental issues concerning all of us on Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. for the month of April. Sponsored by Auto Solutions, Roll With Us, Belco, The Power to Save, and Lindo's, Why Go Anyplace Else? Environmental Awareness Month on Vsb Tv 11.
Some of the most talented young footballers from Tampa, Florida, arrived in Bermuda today for a series of matches against local opposition that kicks off tomorrow morning at the Sports Center. Bermuda Football Association executive member and chairman of player development, Mark Wade, spoke to Mike Sharp about the tour.
We've got IMG Academy, which is based in Tampa, Florida, who is coming over to Bermuda to they're bringing 4 teams, 1 girls team and 3 boys teams, to come in and give our academy some matches. They'll also play against the knockout champions from the under-14, under-16 league, and as well as the league champions from under-16s. It's a good relationship that's really growing and building. We already have Torian Manders that went to IMG Academy, and we all know what kind of player they produced. They helped along with his development, and he starred for us in the World Cup. Over there now is Aaron Burgess from Hamilton Parish, and IMG have also identified a few more youngsters who they've offered places to, and we'll see if those youngsters go over there.
Yeah, tell me more about them. I mean, what are they offering, like scholarships or something?
They're starting to offer scholarships. IMG Academy is a sports academy. They have many sports, tennis, golf, basketball, and what they're doing is they're about producing the professional player, and they help players who are transitioning from college onto the professional ranks to really build the entire person. So the youth part of it and preparatory school part of it has just started, and they're really getting their academic program up and running. I think in the next 2 years or so they'll have their own high school. So they'll start from grade 8 through to 12. It's really a really good place. I've been there, visited there. Fantastic facilities, fantastic medical staff, fantastic sports management. So it's a relationship that we're trying to solidify. We'll be signing an MOU with them fairly soon. And this is another step in the relationship that they're building with the BFA.
People and Places with Charles Webb. Mondays in the Vsb TV 11 Evening News at 7:30, 8:30 and midnight. Sponsored by Big Saving Zone at the end of Stocks Road, St. David's.
The defunct broadcasting stations have more diverse programming than any other broadcasting company in Bermuda.
Mix 106. Bermuda's best mix. Mix 106.
One of the stations of the defunct broadcasting company.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's VSB weather forecast. Our weather shot is brought to us by Lisa Whitehead, taken this afternoon in Southampton. A Desmond Fountain statue overlooking the Great Sound. So cloudy, overcast, a little hazy out there, even though we did get some beautiful sunshine. It was gorgeous and nicely warm today. But thank you, Lisa, for sending the shot in. And temperatures for today, we had a high of 74 at noon and a low of 70 at 4 in the morning. Current conditions, 72 degrees, humidity 75%, wind southeast 12 knots, and barometric pressure is unsteady at 30.35 inches. Rainfall index for the month of April, 1.2, for a yearly total of 20.29 inches. Yearly normal for this time, 16.90 inches. And looking at the satellite, high pressure to our northeast maintains a fair weather ridge over the area through the next few days. A couple of showers may develop during Sunday, with more on Monday as a low deepens off the coast of Florida and a frontal boundary to our north shifts closer to the area. Looking at the gateway cities, Atlanta mostly cloudy, 64. Boston partly cloudy and 45. Charlotte mostly cloudy, 64. London 59 and sunny. Miami 82, possible thunderstorms. New York 50 and mostly cloudy. Orlando rain 82. Philadelphia mostly cloudy, 54. Toronto light rain and 50. And Washington 57 and cloudy. Back at home tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a low near 68. Wind southeast 12 to 16 knots. And tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud, perfect conditions for flying a kite. Wind south-southeast 10 to 15 knots. Marine tonight, no warnings. Seas inside the reef 1 to 2 feet. Seas outside the reef 5 to 7 feet. Sea surface temperature is back up to 71 for those adventurous swimmers tomorrow. Marine tomorrow, seas inside the reef 1 to 2 feet. Seas outside the reef 4 to 6 feet. Low tide will be at 5:30 in the morning, and high tide will be at 11:11 in the morning. So go ahead and make a wish. Looking at the 5-day forecast. Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy, high near 75. Sunday, sunny breaks with a couple of light showers developing later, high near 74. Monday, mostly cloudy with a few showers with a high near 72 and breezy. And Tuesday, windy with showers, high near 71. Thank you to Jeff Torgerson, our meteorologist for tonight, and everyone at the Bermuda Weather Service. I'm Rachel Sawden. Have a great and safe Good Friday.
Thanks for tuning in to the TV 11 News. Happy Easter, everyone. Good night.
Peter Cattell's attire, courtesy of A.S. Cooper & Sons Limited. Wardrobe and makeup for Rachel Sawden, provided by Gibbons Company.
VSB TV 11, Bermuda.